Welcome to Artworks channel. This is the very first episode and I'm very excited to be talking about one of my favorite contemporary artists. She's a local binational street artist, a muralist, a painter, an illustrator, and all around badass. She goes by the name of Panca. In this episode, we'll get to know Panca. We'll be going in depth about her artistic style, her inspiration, and her upbringing as an artist. We'll then be specifically speaking about her 45 tall mural here in San Diego. Panca's real name is Paola Villaseñor. She is a San Diego native from the neighborhood of Chula Vista. Her parents immigrated from Cuernavaca, Mexico, a city close to Mexico City, so in the central part of Mexico. She is the youngest of three siblings. There was a significant age gap between her siblings and herself. So as a child, she would always try to relate to her older siblings. She would watch MTV and watch cartoons that were probably meant for older kids. She loved Ren and Stimpy, one of her favorites till this day, and she would really learn to love the sarcastic dark humor from those shows. As a child, Panca showed artistic abilities pretty early on. She started doodling a lot and quickly used it as a tool to fight boredom as a child. Panca's breakthrough comes during a very tragic time in her life. At the age of 18, her mother passes away from cancer. Soon after that, she loses the house that she had inherited from her mother. While trying to deal with this massive loss, she decides to move across the border and make TJ her new home. So let's stop here for a second and really think this through. This is an 18-year-old child, has never lived in TJ, has no family in TJ. She occasionally visited TJ with her parents as a child to maybe go to the mercado and get something. And as a teen, she probably was acquainted with TJ, going with her friends, partying, maybe going to clubs or music festivals, but she doesn't know TJ in itself as the whole city and all the complexities that come with the city, a city like TJ. And regardless of all that, this brave girl grabs her belongings, moves across the border to a new country, to a new city, to start all the way from zero. Panca often mentions that this early time in TJ, it was like her college years. It was like this coming of age period for herself. And this proves to be when her flirtation with art starts to take a journey in itself. She begins to experiment with stencils, aerosol sprays, and wheat paste. From there on, she starts to make a name for herself in the streets of TJ and falls in love with street art. As Panca gains momentum, it has not stopped since. She has crossed borders with her art. Her artworks can be found in Mexico City to all the way to Northern California. She has collaborated with numerous art institutions, museums, galleries, local businesses, and even popular music festivals like Coachella. Panca really draws inspiration from pure observation of the mundane. This fascination with everyday life encompasses all aspects of life, the beauty and the ugliness of it all. She depicts a sometimes disturbing side, but also shining light into the beauty that makes up humanity. So let's take a little closer look into her visual language. Her art is very pop art, surrealist, playful, and seems to be simplistic, or at least at first glance. But when you take a second look, you can start to see the many layers in it. When looking at her artworks, you will always find that Panca creates humanoid characters with intense gazes. They are really telling of their mental state. There is a reason behind this. When Panca initially moves to TJ, she's very taken by people's deep gazes. These are people walking through the streets of TJ. She later learns are migrants. These people walk the streets trying to get to their final destination and have endured some of the hardest things in life. They wear feelings of exhaustion, fear, hope, and hopelessness in their eyes. Those gazes were tattooed in Panca's mind, and she continues to explore them in her art in different ways. Her art is also known for her humanoid caricature-like characters, very a la Ren and Stimpy. Sometimes she creates blobs and bizarrely shaped humans. Others are inanimate things with human-like characteristics. Her color palette is also very herself. She often works with neon pastel colors and often choosing a shade or shades of pink as one of her leading colors. This is to strategically contrast the cute nature of the color pink against the sometimes gut-wrenching topics, in a way to soften the blow of the dark subject matter. The artwork. So here I present the 45 feet tall mural, the ice cream cone, that is a tribute to all the paleteros paleteras, aka ice cream vendors. Here we can see a minimalist figurative depiction of a cartoon ice cream cone. We see the pastel colors that we talked about, the bright and bold colors. We see the dark outlines around the figures, I believe inspired by the 90s vibe caricature. We see the gazes we talked about. The ice cream cone has an exhausted, melting look in its face. You see its disoriented eyes, half open mouth as if just exhaling from exhaustion. The cone is dripping ice cream as if mimicking dripping sweat. And then we can see the hearts floating around it. So this appears as a simple idea, an exhausted ice cream cone. This building is Bread and Salt Art Gallery, located in the neighborhood of Logan Heights. For those that don't know, Logan Heights is a historical neighborhood in San Diego, and it's particularly significant to the Mexican American community and best known as Barrio Logan. Fun fact, with the start of the Mexican Revolution in 1910, Mexican refugees settled in this side of town. And as Mexican population grew, Barrio Logan was born. In modern times, Logan is also a symbol of the resilience and struggle that Chicanos have endured. We have Chicano Park that is literally built due to the vast efforts of Chicano activists and Barrio Logan residents to claim a space of their own, free of development in the 1970s. So back to the mural again. The official title of the mural is called La Calors and is dedicated to all the paleteros paleteras, to those women and men that work their tails off during the hot summer days, bringing joy to all the kids in the neighborhood. That sound of their bells that spark a smile and sends everyone on a frenzy to look for coins. Paleteros, among all the other people in the neighborhood, like the mechanics or Señora de las Tortillas, panaderos, is what make Mexican communities so lively and special. For this massive space, Panca decided to pay homage to the ice cream vendors and to showcase Mexican American culture in San Diego, here where it all started, Barrio Logan. La Calors is actually very different from the rest of the artwork that you can find here. Barrio Logan has always been very artistically prideful. We can see a lot of murals representing the pride for Mexican heritage, colors of the Mexican flag, Cesar Chavez, among other important figures in our history. But in her own trailblazing way, she wanted to convey her own artistic version of what it means to grow up Chicana in the States. So this is it for this video, but thank you so much for sticking around. Please hit the like button and stay tuned for future videos.